me, first off, always a lot to be excited about with Bishop Dwenger football year in and year out. What have you liked about how the guys have come together so far through some of the
Yeah, so I would say, obviously our senior leadership has been there, and our underclassmen too. I'm very proud of them. A lot of guys stepping up, filling positions, especially that they don't know how to play, and coaches are asking a lot of them, and they're fulfilling those.
When you take a look at this Dwenger squad, of course, always a lot of success. Some growing pains too, but how do you hope to build off of last season and try to keep building that winning culture?
Yeah, so I'd say the pains last year definitely are going to set a tone for this year. We know what happened last year. We know the mistakes. We're fixing those early, so we don't make those mistakes again.
Who are some of the guys that we need to be paying attention to, aside from you, for this Dwenger squad?
I would say our big left tackle, Andrew Tryon. He's a big guy. He's a junior. Dog. Great pass protection, run blocking, everything. He's got it all. And then I would say, honestly, our whole senior leadership squad. We've all came out, 6 a.m. 3 times a week, and they're all ready, enthusiastic every day for practice. So it's really inspiring to see.
SAC, always one of the best conferences in the Hoosier States, especially when you have teams like Carroll, Homestead always in the mix too. Just how do you feel like you guys can stack up in an always stacked SAC?
Yeah, so I'd say the SAC, there's always talent. The talent has gotten better every year, I feel like. I think we stack up very well against those guys. Every game is a battle. That's what we love. No one likes to play blowouts, so we love the competition.
All right, hardest question I've got for you though. If you had to say one nice thing about your biggest rival, Bishop Moores, what would it be?
Well, I grew up with a lot of those guys, so I'd say they're a lot of kind-hearted individuals, great guys. They have a great coach, so a lot of great guys in that program.
What have you liked about the guys so far as you guys are getting through summer workouts?
I like the discipline all of our guys have this year. We've had, since the beginning of June, summer workouts starting at 6 a.m., ending at 9, and basically, for the most part, the whole entire team's been there every single time, ready to work, no complaining, no sleeping in or anything, so discipline this year.
For sure. You take a look at last season, a little bit of growing pains with this team. How do you hope to build off of last season and try to get Dwenger back to that perch of being a championship caliber team?
I thought we were young last year. We lost some key players in our seniors, but we were young. We had a freshman receiver who got his first snap in his sectional game. So I like that we have that experience, and I think we can build off that. We know the pain. I've had it the past 2 years losing the sectionals. So us seniors, we know what that's like, and we're ready. We're ready this year.
Who are some of the other faces that we need to be keeping an eye on for this Bishop Dwenger team?
Henry Jordan, he's our starting quarterback. He was back up last year, but off season he's been doing all sorts of training, all sorts of work, and he's been putting in a lot of work. And we also have a couple of transfers from Carroll. I think Beckham Russell, Caden Bush, Carter Zent. They're ready to work. They've already bought into us, all the tradition, all the hard work. And yeah, I think those guys could add up.
When you take a look at the SAC, it's always one of the best conferences in the Hoosier States. Carroll, Homestead, how do you feel like you guys can fit into that mix when it's going to be really tough again this season?
I think we can compete this year in the SAC. I think we have a chance to take the SAC this year. I know Carroll, Snyder, Homestead, like you said, they're all good teams, great teams, but I think we have a shot at SAC this year.
Probably the most important question for me. Have you played the new college football video game yet?
I have.
Who is your school you're rocking with?
Indiana Hoosiers. Already won a championship with them in Dynasty.
There's always a lot of optimism when you're talking Bishop Dwenger football. Just what have you liked about how the guys have shown up day in and day out throughout summer workouts?
Yeah, there's been a lot of resurgence. I mean, a lot of youth last year, and a lot of injury last year, and hit the weight room January. And then everybody starts hitting the field in June and July. We just finished up this morning, early morning workouts, a lot of energy, a lot of excitement. I think there's a lot of anticipation, a lot of new faces as far as starting positions go, but in terms of just experience, we got a lot of returners. So I think they're real anxious to put things together and get going. So we're excited. We leave camp excited, ready to go.
Knowing how last season wound up, have, some growing pains with a kind of a younger team.
Yeah.
How do you hope that can sharpen these guys now that they've got another year of experience under their belt?
Yeah, you said it well. I think, you can't replace opportunities out there on a Friday night. As my grandma would say, or sometimes you got to take your lumps, right? And I think, getting younger guys out there, the game speeds up. You're playing guys that are a couple years older than you. You can't but get better. And we had guys willing to do that, starting 7 or 8 sophomores in that sectional championship game. 3 of them had to have surgery after the season. So, no excuses, but the reality is we got the right guys. They learned a lot. The game, was fast. Game was fast. Game is fast. And so I think they come in, now they know what to expect. They're a year older, year bigger, year stronger. Did a great job in the weight room in the off season. So we're going to see how it plays out.
Who are some of those guys that we need to be keeping an eye on this season?
Yeah, I think on the line, we're looking at Andrew Tryon. He's a returner, starter as a sophomore. Did a great job for us, and he'd be on both sides of the ball. Drew Stauffer as a senior, now a captain, both sides of the ball, big body. Andrew Weimer, a big tackle who comes back off of injury, didn't play much last year. And a few other guys that are stepping in from an offensive line that lost 4 starters. And then those guys transitioned to our defensive line. And then, the biggest part of our returning, players are on defense. So, go through the skill players: Brady O'Keefe, Houston Ellinger, Nick Pelkington, Tommy Poiry on the defensive line, Anthony Shefferly at linebacker, running back. So a slew of guys that we're blessed to have. Ryan Groves will be back, coming off injury as well. So, like I said, I can go through a list of guys. Even on offense, losing as many guys as we did, got a real strong candidate for quarterback. Got a slew of Tippmann running backs. You guys just say Tippmann, you're right on that. And so we're excited.
For sure. When talking with your guys, they were saying how they expect to win a championship, especially in the SAC. Just knowing what's on deck, especially in the A division. State champion like Snyder, Carroll, Homestead. How do you hope to stay in that mix and compete for at least that SAC title?
Yeah, it starts with attitude, so I'm glad to hear they said that. They say that every day. It's not a prideful or arrogant way in which they say it. It's just confidence. They know the expectations at Bishop Dwenger High School and the tradition of football there, so they take that upon their shoulders. So I'm excited to hear that. We start off with, as we did last year, Brownsburg and Cincinnati Moeller. So the knob goes to 10. When we hit the SAC, we're not surprised by much. Doesn't mean it's not going to be challenging, but we've seen a lot of what we're going to face in the SAC. So part of the reason why we set the schedule the way we did. Outcomes may be, not a win or whatever, but we're not looking at outcomes. It's about the process. So as long as we got the right attitudes, the will that our guys have, play with physicality, play the game with integrity, learn each game. We're blessed to have the schedule. Those first 2 games and the SAC, which is going to be a gauntlet this year, top to bottom. Hopefully after those 9 games, we're in a position where we've learned a lot, we're healthy, and we can make a 6-game run.